Now to a personal campaign by a Coronation Street actress to save a fund that helps people with disabilities. Shirley Houston from Morecambe, who plays Izzy Armstrong in the soap, wants to protect the Independent Living Fund. It allows people with disabilities to control their own care, but the government plans to close it with no direct replacement in sight. Our political reporter Daniel Hewitt has more.
And we're not up to it. I'm not up to it because of my disability.
5 years ago, Cheryl Lee Houston made history, becoming Coronation Street's first ever full-time disabled actress.
Help us save the ILF.
So now she's fronting a campaign led by Corrie stars past and present to stop plans to scrap the Independent Living Fund, a decision she believes will hold back thousands of disabled people.
To take somebody's right and choice of how they live their life away, when actually that's what the system is set up for. Those are the people the system set up for the most.
Brian Hilton from Manchester receives ILF support. He has muscular dystrophy. The money allows him to control his own care, hiring personal assistants so he can leave the house and live an active life.
I want to live. I don't want to exist. People like me with high support needs, we're facing a future of reduced care and reduced support, you know, and the prospect of either becoming prisoners in our own homes or forced into residential care.
And it was to avoid forcing disabled people into care that the ILF was set up in 1988. Today, 17,500 people receive it at a cost of £260 million a year. But in June, the funding will be given to local councils and the ILF will be shut down. The Department for Work and Pensions told us the government has decided to close the ILF to ensure all social care support is delivered through the mainstream system rather than two separate systems. The decision also takes into account the significant developments in adult social care over the last 20 years. In other words, the government says it's not taking money away from disabled people, but transferring it to local authorities to decide how it's spent instead. But that money isn't ring-fenced, which means those local authorities have no obligation to spend that money on disabled people. They can spend it how they want. For Brian and others, they fear that without that dedicated pot of money, the help they currently receive will eventually just disappear. Cheryl Lee knows her campaign won't change the government's mind, but she hopes it will raise public awareness so that thousands of disabled people like Brian will have their message heard. Daniel Hewitt, ITV News, Salford.